national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The lineups and the kickoff when we return to BMO Field. You're watching the 2008 Pepsi MLS All-Star Game.
And now,
The players and fans getting a little anxious now for this 2008 All-Star Game to get underway. So right now, let's head over to the booth and rejoin Nigel Reed and Jason DeVos, gentlemen.
Jimmy Conrad.
Brenda, thank you so much. It's been an exciting build-up to this game, and here are the men hoping to make more of a name for themselves than they already have. The starting lineups brought to you by BMO. Well, you can't ignore number 23, David Beckham. Interestingly, Timo Blanco, we believe, will play as an out-and-out striker alongside Dallas's Kenny Cooper. Shalry Joseph will protect the back four.
Yes, Blanco is one of those players that likes to drift in the hole, in behind the lone striker. That's something we're expecting to see from him today. He's got a very huge impact that he's made in Chicago since he's joined them. He'll be looking to make the same sort of impact tonight with the MLS All-Stars.
Of course, it all remains to be seen how many replacements Steve Nicol might make during the course of this match. More when we get to it. Here's the West Ham lineup, just their third match into pre-season. And what a responsibility for young number 40. At left back, 19-year-old Joe Widdowson, who has the unenviable task of marking David Beckham.
It's a baptism by fire, so to speak, for Joe Widdowson. It's going to be a great game for him and a wonderful experience to play against a star like David Beckham.
4-4-2 for the Hammers, who have Colin Ashton up front. It is a beautiful evening down by the lake shore in Toronto. And 22 degrees, negligible wind, slightly cloudy, but we hope the showers have gone for good. Match referee, Mauricio Navarro, FIFA official from Vancouver, BC, 41 years of age, his third Major League Soccer season, his first taste of the All-Star game. In fact, we're told that this is the first time there has been Canadian involvement in the officials in the All-Star history. Dean Ashton. And there is the man of whom much is expected, and many fans have paid to see, good money to see number 23. There he is, David Beckham, just shielding his face from the sun. But there are, as we mentioned in our preamble, 21 others out there. It's not just the David Beckham show, but no doubt he will have a significant part to play, as he does week in, week out for LA Galaxy, which is part of the reason they're going so well in Major League Soccer this season. Mr. Navarro gets us underway with the MLS All-Stars, those dark jerseys, kicking from right to left in this first half. And West Ham, their new and improved away kit, as they call it, back in Europe, of, well, I suppose that's sky blue. Not too good on my colours. They all kick from left to right. Well, now then, keys to the game. Who's going to win it? and why. We put our heads together. This is what we came up with.
Well, the MLS All-Star team need to play as a team. You know, the tendency in these All-Star games is to be an individual, but if they're going to be successful against West Ham, they need to play together as a unit, and they have to realize it's a two-way game, which means they have to defend as well as attack.
What of the Hammers?
Fitness, fitness, fitness. It's a preseason game for West Ham, and it's all about getting match fitness and getting sharp ahead of the Premier League season that's coming up. The one key player that they always rely on is Dean Ashton up front. England international, he'll be looking to get on the goal trails early on in the Premier League season to try and catch the eye of Fabio Capello, the England manager, ahead of the World Cup qualifiers that are coming up.
Interesting pre-match comments from Dwayne De Rosario, one of 3 Canadians on the All-Star roster. They're not starting this game. And he was talking to Mitch. He says friendlies are a thing of the past in All-Star games. And I say amen to that. I hope it is a competitive game here this evening, notwithstanding the fact, as you say, that West Ham are in the process of their pre-season build-up.
Well, I think all games, whether they're friendlies, exhibition games, or pre-season games, they're competitive by nature. The players want to win. It doesn't matter what game it is. You always want to come out as a winner.
There's 3 Canadians on the bench. De Rosario, Jim Brennan, who of course plays his club football here for Toronto FC. Houston goalkeeper Pat Onstad. Watch out perhaps for an appearance as well from Juan Pablo Angel, the New York striker who had such an impact in his first season in Major League Soccer. Lucas Neal will take the throw for West Ham. But I think there's no question from the comments we've heard pre-game that Steve Nicol, the All-Star coach, wants his team to put on a show and to win this game.
Well, I think they can do. They certainly have the talent at their disposal to be an offensive force with the likes of David Beckham and Juan Toha delivering the balls in from wide. We've got Blanco, Kenny Cunningham, and league's leading goal scorer on the bench, Landon Donovan. There's players here that are looking to make an impression.
Cooper trying to get the header away. But it's a throw to the Premier League team. Widowson takes. Here's number 40. One of several junior and academy graduates from West Ham who have come on this pre-season tour. Cooper again with the flick ahead, that's nice. Blanco. 50 was Mullins. There's the recognisable figure of Frankie Haydock. Leaves it for Shalry Joseph. Haydock's continued his run. Toha turns. Parker. West Ham look for an outlet. That far side, perhaps through Etherington. 3 ahead of him. Finds Cole. Can he turn inside? Cole can get the shot away. Still going, Carlton Cole. Etherington helping out. Haydock had to be alert to block the cross. The first signs of danger from West Ham. Haydock finds his goalkeeper, Matt Rees. Vastly experienced, of course. Ferdinand and Davenport back there. Balls to Joseph. Haydock looking for Blanco, finds him. Beckham with the ball across. And as far as Davenport. Widowson again, charged down by Beckham. It'll fall to Beckham. Needs a good cross. Cleared by Ferdinand. David Beckham knows all about West Ham. He was born and brought up in the East End of London before he was spotted as a teenager by Manchester United.
Good build-up play from the All-Stars, and this is what David Beckham is known for, delivering quality balls into the box into dangerous areas. That's a great ball in. Kenny Cooper's got to look to try and get across Anton Ferdinand and attack that near post space, because that's exactly where David Beckham's going to put the ball.
Going to West Ham on that far side. Here he is, the youngster, Joe Widdowson. He's yet to make his senior debut for West Ham back in England. So this could be quite the learning curve for him this evening.
Teams often do that in preseason, Nigel. They tend to bring along 5 or 6 young players, give them a bit of experience, a taste of what's to come in the first team if they keep working and keep progressing, without the pressure of having to throw them in a Premier League game where everything's at stake.
Cole with the flick on, looking for the run of Ashton. There's a flag. A little bit of pushing. Handshake between Haydock and Ashton.
Well, he's a big, strong, physical presence up front, Dean Ashton. Good spot from the linesman to get that.
Joseph will get us underway again. There's a shot of the West Ham bench. Lewis Morty among those waiting for an opportunity. Portuguese international. And Kerbishley will use his troops wisely throughout. Blanco makes his way into the danger area as Beckham spots it in the quadrant in front of those West Ham fans. Beckham delivers. Ferdinand got something on it. Haydock miskicked. A chance now for Etherington to sprint. Watched by Haydock. Early ball from Etherington. Cleared by Conrad. Handball. It'll be a West Ham ball. Parker. Parker again. Finds Cole. Tug of the shirt, but allowed to continue. This is Faubert. On his near side, Lucas Neal, the Australian captain for West Ham. And Cole looking to turn again. Cole, when he tried to pull the trigger, will win the corner. And Pablo Mastroeni managed to block the shot.
Mastroeni can also operate in the midfield. Played for the U.S. national team many times. Very experienced defender.
So the Frenchman Faubert will take the first corner for West Ham. He's got a punch on it. How quickly was Beckham? Faubert got the better of him. Took another deflection, and Faubert will have another chance to deliver across on this near side. Half away, falls to Parker. He gets it horribly wrong, and now they'll run away for a throw-in. 10 minutes gone, no score as we go downstairs. And here is Mitch Peacock. Mitch.
Well, Nigel, it's interesting, you know, so much talk about the importance of this game, albeit a friendly. The teams wanting to show what they're about, wanting to show their pride and what they're capable of. This MLS team with 10 returnees from last year's All-Star game, 9 U.S. internationals, 3 Canadian internationals, an England international, a Mexican international, a Colombian, and a Grenadian international. 4 first-time players in this game, among the 4 rookies, so to speak, Beckham and Blanco. Not a bad bunch.
Kenny Cooper will shoot first time. It's wide. And let us not forget that Beckham and Blanco will not see 30 again.
Well, the one thing you're definitely guaranteed with an all-star team is that they're all full of confidence. You know, they're coming in here because they've had outstanding first half of the season. Each player, Kenny Cooper, amongst those. To the point where he's being scouted by teams in Europe now.
9 goals to his credit this season for Dallas. Kenny Cooper. Matt Reese knows what the All-Star game is all about. He's had plenty of experience. Beckham finds a route. Tracked by Widdowson. The youngster won out that time. Lucas Neal bangs it away. It'll fall for Hayder. Put the ball forward. Meant for Beckham. Drifted out of play. Free kick to the All-Stars. Plenty more soccer to come. Next Monday, BMO Toronto FC on CBC, Toronto FC at Real Salt Lake. Bold and cbcsports.ca. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. We hope you can join us for that. My word, does Toronto need a win. Good run from Bornstein on this near side, but just ran out of room. Jonathan Bornstein. West Ham quickly getting on with it. The lengthening shadows at BMO Field. Maybe the visiting English team have had an effect on the weather. It's finally stopped raining. There's been plenty of precipitation here in Toronto over the last 2 or 3 days. With the throw, finds Mullins. Forward again for Cole. And for the run ahead. Then a bit of a push. Hayder spots the ball, finds Beckham. Shown by Blanco.
In England, he might have got away with this, Matthew Etherington, but good spot by Mauricio Navarro. We're pushing the back.
Blanco again. Beckham. And once again, the veteran Mexican. Take down the understanding there. Beckham played it straight to Etherington. Widdowson thought about the chip ahead. Came back inside to Davenport. Not the most effective clearance. The All-Stars look to keep the move going. Toha links up with Beckham. Toha again. Cooper back to goal. Here's Beckham. Cooper again looking to turn. Too many blue shirts around him. Cole gets a trip from Joseph. And it'll be a word for Joseph. A stern word, I fancy, from Mr. Navarro.
Just mistimed this one a little bit. Showery Joseph, a very good player, someone I rate very high. I think he's the best defensive midfielder in the league. Plays very effectively for New England Revolution.
Conrad gave it away. Etherington, it's wide. Well, perhaps he'd have hoped to at least test the goalkeeper from that range. Matthew Etherington.
Well, he's scored a few goals in his day for West Ham. It's been a thorn in the side of my Ipswich team over the years. Most notably in the season they won promotion through the playoffs. So he's not someone I have fond memories of.
How about David Beckham? You have fond memories of him?
Well, he's always been a fantastic player and a wonderful spokesman for the game.
Haydock in Beckham's position. He's got Beckham behind him. So Haydock in an advanced position. kept the ball in momentarily, but it's just dribbled behind the dead ball line for a goal kick to West Ham. Haydock's been a magnificent servant for the game, you know.
Very good servant for the U.S. national team as well over the years. Another very difficult opponent. And still playing extremely well for Columbus.
First name on the team sheet, or thereabouts. As Robert Green clears upfield. Joseph with the chest down. Toha finds Borstein. Then to the Kansas City captain, Jimmy Conrad. And Conrad once again. There's Blanco. Toha. Plenty of vocal support for that man, Jim Brennan. Watching on intently, would love to get a chance to play, and I think we may see him before the evening is out.
Well, he deserves to be here, Jim Brennan. You know, I think he's been fantastic for Toronto FC, not just this season, but last season when they struggled. You know, he's been the face of Toronto FC, and it's always been his dream to come back and play in his home country, and he's been granted that wish, and he's making the most of it. I think he's playing some of the best football he's played in his career.
Anton Ferdinand, brother of Rio, of course. Manchester United and England centre-back. Cole trying the flick on. It'll come to Conrad. Joseph. Oha couldn't clear it up. Scott Parker does for West Ham. Goal again. Trying to go inside Joseph. Cooper. Cooper's continued his run. Here is Kenny Cooper. Can he turn? Handball. Tug on the jersey. Cooper always found a route through that.
Well, this is an all-star game move. Christian Gomez flicks it over the top. And Kenny Cooper, if he goes down here, he gets a penalty. Whittleton's got a hold of his jersey, and he just pulls him off balance. A great little flick over the top from Christian Gomez. Just doesn't quite sit down right for him. Still gets a turn. Great skill from Cooper, but if he goes down there, I think he might have got a penalty call.
There certainly appeared to be a tug on the shirt from young Widdowson. To Cooper, you're absolutely right. Joseph with the header. Ferdinand. The Bears made his way infield. This is Dean Ashton. Beaten to possession by Joseph, and then Beckham. Always alert, always head up, finds Blanco. Cooper on this near side. Not too much support at this moment. Wins the corner off Ferdinand. Robert Green. West Ham and England goalkeeper just won senior cap, Green, for his country. Beckham's come to take the corner on this near side. Takes it in. Good late run. Green had to be alert. Safe handling.
Well, when you've got David Beckham taking your corners, you know they're going to come in dangerous areas. That's something West Ham are going to have to be very mindful of tonight. Robert Green's going to have to organize his back four, make sure they're picked up and they're all in the right areas.
Blanco. Trying to find Toha.
You notice Blanco is drifting all over the field. He lined up front alongside Kenny Cooper, and he's all over the place now. He wants to try and get on the ball as much as he can. That's what he likes to do, and that's what he does best. He gets on the ball, creates passes, creates opportunities, spreads the play.
Noticeable as well that Beckham certainly isn't playing as a right winger. I mean, he's out there from time to time, but he's drifted infield significantly as well.
He has, you know, but a lot of people argue that David Beckham might be better served playing in the middle of the park because he is still regarded as probably the best passer of football in the world. A lot of people suggest that perhaps his talents are wasted a little bit out in the wing for the Los Angeles Galaxy, and they might be better served playing in the middle where his distribution can be taken advantage of.
Parker for West Ham. Cole can't control it. Ornstein and Blanco can. Joseph. Mastroeni. Beckham is out on that wide flank once again. But it must be difficult for someone like Steve Nicol. I mean, in a game like this, of course it's a one-off, but he has an embarrassment of riches from which to choose. And one wonders, you know, the players obviously have come to have fun, but obviously to play a game as well.
Well, from Steve Nicol's perspective, I think he just picks 11 guys and says, go out there and enjoy yourself. You know, and you can see the MLS All-Stars are doing just that.
No coaching required. Gomez trying to beat Parker. But the West Ham player won out on that occasion. There's Conrad to Bornstein on this near side. Ferdinand with the header. And once again, Cole was the target. Haydock will tidy up.
I was speaking to Jeff Laurentowicz from the New England Revolution earlier on today, and he was saying that Steve Nicol is such a fun guy to play for.
Well, talking about fun, this weekend we're going to have some fun. It's the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup. Semi-finals and final. It's all coming up this weekend. Meanwhile, from distant Ashton. Saturday the semi-finals, Sunday gold and bronze medal final. Both days the action begins 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. You know what, Dean Ashton was much easier to spot and recognise when he had that bleach blonde look last season. Here's Kenny Cooper for the All-Stars. Finds Temo Blanco. Turns inside. Goodison away from goal with the header. That's what they teach you. Etherington is helping out. Goodison again. You're wondering where the likes of George McCartney are if you're a West Ham player. He's not on this trip. He's recovering from an injury. There's a couple of the senior West Ham players who haven't made this trip. Ferdinand. That's for the Cole. Wilson again, just over halfway through this first half. It's been a relatively low-key game so far. Neither goalkeeper seriously tested. Cole turns, he's got Ashton inside him, he's got room. He's come all the way across to Faubert, trying to get on with it quickly. Over the top of Mullins. The Hammers still have possession through Neal. Etherington thought about the shot, and that's too far ahead of Ashton.
That's the sort of build-up play that Alan Kirbishley, the West Ham manager, will be looking for from his team. You know, they say preseason games are, as we have a look at Steve Nash, hopefully going to be speaking to us later on in the game.
Well, we certainly hope so, and we know Steve Nash is a huge soccer fan, despite what he gets paid to do. Two-time NBA MVP. We know he's a huge soccer fan, and there are rumours, we stress the word rumours at this stage, that he's thinking of putting his money where his mouth is and getting involved with a consortium of Canadian businessmen to hopefully bring another Major League Soccer franchise north of the border. So with a bit of luck, we'll get Steve Nash in the booth a little later on and get it from the horse's mouth, which is always the best way to get it, I say.
It is. He's a big fan of soccer, Steve Nash, and he's a handy player as well.
Juan Toja with the throw for the All-Stars, for Jimmy Conrad. And now for Joseph. And look how deep David Beckham is. Just wants to be involved in this game. No pressure, except the pressure you put on yourself. And both teams, of course, want to win. Timo Blanco, as ever, involved as we go downstairs. No score. Here's Mitch Peacock. Mitch.
Well, Nigel, Alan Kirbysley said at a media conference yesterday that West Ham was taking part in tours like this as we see a scoring opportunity.
And there is the opening goal. And the curse of the commentator. And after 25 minutes, Dean Ashton has opened the scoring for West Ham against the All-Stars. And the English Premier League side showing their class.
You know, he's hardly had a kickable ball so far, but Dean Ashton shows what a lethal finisher he is. A little bit of a mix-up at the back for the MLS All-Stars. That comes from not playing together very often. And all Dean Ashton needs is a half a chance. He buries it in the back of the net, and that's why he's an England international. And that's exactly what Alan Kirbysley is going to want from him in the upcoming season for West Ham.
Now, we were halfway through talking to Mitch Peacock when Dean Ashton rudely interrupted him. Mitch, you were saying?
I was saying that West Ham has a rich tradition, and one of the reasons they're on this tour is to spread the word about that tradition. They're known as the Academy of Football for the way they develop players as another scoring chance develops.
Well, Mitch obviously has the golden touch. Christian Gomez celebrates for the All-Stars. And 2 goals in 3 minutes. And we're all square once again. The huge applause. And once again, good finish from Gomez. And the back heel from Blanco.
Great little back heel from Blanco. Christian Gomez makes no mistake. You always want your players, when you get in the box, if you get the opportunity to strike on goal, hit it across the goalkeeper. Because if he makes a save, he's going to spill it. And Kenny Cooper's right there for the tap-in. Great finish from Christian Gomez.
Almost a carbon copy of Dean Ashton. So, 2 interruptions for Mitch Peacock. Let's go for the hat-trick. Mitch, you were saying.
You want another goal, do you, gentlemen? Well, the Academy of Football.
Yes, that's right. We've seen 1 goal from the Academy of Football, and now we've seen 1 from the All-Stars at the other end.
The Academy of Football, known, of course, for producing Bobby Moore, Martin Peters, and Jeff Hurst from the '66 World Cup champs of England, had Premiership stars today like Joe Cole, Rio Ferdinand, and Frank Lampard. Obviously, they continue to pump out the good ones.
Beckham with the ball forward. It falls to Julien Faubert. So 1-1 in the All-Star game, 28 minutes gone. A few moments ago, we saw Steve Nash downstairs signing autographs. Well, he's lightning fast because he's not downstairs anymore. Delighted to say the Suns' 2-time NBA MVP is with us in the booth. Great to see you.
Pleasure.
Now, we know you're a huge soccer fan, and I've been watching your brother play recently. He's not bad, is he?
He isn't. He's a good, really good player, so I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, we're talking, of course, about Martin Nash, and Vancouver made a good fist of the Canadian Championship, and of course won here. Nobody's won on this turf against Toronto FC since last year, but Vancouver found a way to do it.
They did, on a goal by a young Martin Nash.
That's
right. So I was very, very proud on that night.
You know, Martin's someone that I've played alongside with the national team myself. Someone I've always felt, Steve, with a little bit of luck, could have had a fantastic career in England because he's a very talented player. But you're not such a bad player yourself, actually. I was watching that media game today, and I'm not just saying that because you're just sitting here beside me, but you're probably the best player on show. Was there ever a time in your life where you thought maybe you might consider being a professional soccer player rather than a professional basketball player?
Yeah, the first 13 years of my life. You know, I grew up in a British household in British Columbia, and my first word was goal. So, you know, if my dad had it his way, I'd be playing for Tottenham Hotspurs right now. But, you know, none of my friends seem to see eye to eye with my dad on that, so we all played basketball.
Yeah.
I think if I had my way, I think I'd have you playing for Tottenham Hotspur as well. I think they might need a striker in the not-too-distant future.
Unfortunately.
Here's a little bit of you earlier on today and the fun that you had. It looked a little bit warm out there, but I don't know, perhaps you need a bit of a...
It's Craig Forrest with the chest down there. Oh, he's talented himself.
No,
it was good fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Now, there's rumours, as we hinted to before you came and joined us in the booth, and let's talk a little bit about soccer at the moment. There have been rumours for a long time about your possible involvement as a as an owner, either here or overseas. I don't know what you want to tell our viewers, and you know what the score is. But if I don't ask you, I'm not going to get an answer.
Fair enough. You know, I'm a part of ownership group in Vancouver, trying to get an MLS team to Vancouver. And you know, as a football fanatic and a Canadian, to see the unbelievable atmosphere, it gives me goosebumps to be here in Toronto and see Canadians come out and support soccer the way they are. If we can replicate that in Vancouver, another traditional great soccer community, and really build, you know, rivalries in our country and get the fans out buying their jerseys and season tickets and coming and screaming and cheering for their team as they are in Toronto, which is, again, just so much fun and such a pleasure to see in our country. Wow, what can I say? It'd be a dream come true. Is that back to the left foot there?
I think it might be, you know. I thought that one was just for standing on.
Yeah, he hasn't scored many with a left peg, has he? I think if this had fallen on his right foot, we would be celebrating another goal. But yeah, David Beckham with the left foot's not quite as lethal as with the right.
Good spot there. Left-footed or right-footed, Steve?
He's both, Nigel. I saw him today. He scored goals with both feet.
My dad used to tell me if I run around my right foot in the garden, he's going to go inside. So it didn't take me long before I kicked the ball.
Gomez couldn't keep it down despite Beckham's accurate pass. Well, now we keep hearing in Eastern Canada about the challenges, if I can put it that way, about getting a stadium built out in Vancouver, and that might be a problem to getting an MLS franchise there. I mean, how do you see it from your perspective?
I don't really see it as a problem, because we've already gotten the go-ahead from the government to basically redo BC Place in this soccer-friendly stadium. So we already have that in the bag. But you know, the dream of Greg Kerfoot, the owner, and our group is to build this unbelievable stadium on the waterfront downtown Vancouver. So we already have BC Place. We have other options, but the dream is to get the one going right down on the water. It'll be one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world, looking at the mountains and the ocean, right in the city. And you know, if we could duplicate the atmosphere we had here in a location like that, you know, it'd be fantastic, not only for Vancouver, but for the MLS.
We wish you every success. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to Major League Soccer in Vancouver in the not-too-distant future. Mr. Nash is perhaps alone. Thanks for your time.
Steve, thanks very much for coming up.
Could be a goal here. It's wide. And I think that might have been Kenny Cooper. And that could have been 2-1.
Well, the goal-scoring form that Kenny Cooper's been in so far this season, you'd bank on him. Great delivery from Blanco, left-footed. Robert Green's in no man's land. Can't come for that. It kind of caught him by surprise. I think he might have expected the defender to clear that, Kenny Cooper, and should have been in the back of the net for a 2-1 lead for the MLS All-Stars.
But 1-1 it is. 33 minutes gone. Steve Nash has gone as well. But he's talked very optimistically about the future of soccer. And of course, Western Canada has such a rich history as well of soccer as well. We shouldn't ignore that, whether or not a Major League Soccer franchise comes about in the next several years.
No, I mean, I've played out there many times myself, Nigel, both club soccer and the national program, and I know how passionate people are. BC has a fantastic tradition of producing players for the national team, both men and women, and I would love to see them and Montreal and Ottawa get MLS franchises, because it would be a huge boost to the development of the game in our country. It would allow Canadian kids a place to go and play and develop and improve as players, and it would give them a goal. I mean, you look at there's so many kids that come and watch TFC play here, and they now have what I never had as a kid, the opportunity to say, I could play professionally in Canada for Toronto FC, or hopefully Montreal Impact, or Vancouver Whitecaps, or Ottawa if they get a team in the MLS. And that's the dream of all Canadian soccer players, to see that professional game thrive in our country to the point where we can develop players for the national team ourselves.
It was the very reason that Jim Brennan decided to come home after all those years in England. He was quite clear when he first signed as the first player for Toronto FC in the expansion year. And freely admitted he thought it's something he might never see.
Well, if you ask any of the guys who are playing for the men's national team right now, they'll probably all tell you the same thing. They would love to play professionally in Canada at a competitive enough level that they can play for the national team as well.
Carlton Cole for West Ham shrugs off the challenge from Joseph. Effectively, Jimmy Conrad. The throw to West Ham. Will be taken, well, I thought it was going to be taken by Etherington. He leaves it indeed for Willowson. Here's Lucas Neal. Toha will win it. Or at least let it roll away for a throw-in. If you missed the top of the show, an important announcement from Major League Soccer today. There is now a commitment to expand the league to 18 teams by 2011. Currently it's a 14-team league. We know that Seattle and Philadelphia are the next two franchises on the map. But we hope to speak to MLS Commissioner Don Garber during the second half and see if we can get some more details out of him. It's all coming up in the second half here on CBC Sports, so don't go away. Julian Faubert for West Ham, cut out by Hayder. Cooper plays the dummy. Toha gives chase. Neal shields it. Toha to get to Torn it and then tries to nutmeg Neal. The ball stay in. It did. And here's Blanco. And Joseph from Gomez. Wide to Beckham. Good ball in again. Hayder to the throw for the All-Stars. Dean Ashton, goal scoring for West Ham. Christian Gomez replying just a couple of minutes later for the All-Stars. Cooper can't find a way through. Robert Green looking for an option.
David Beckham keeps himself out nice and wide, and he's done this his whole career. He gets a half a yard, whips the ball in. If the defender tries to overcompensate and cut that cross out, he comes inside on his left foot and does the same thing. One of the best in the world at opening himself up and wrapping his foot around the ball, whipping in dangerous crosses for strikers to get on the end of.
And he has no intention of stopping doing it anytime soon. He's 33 years of age now, David Beckham, but he has an eye on the World Cup in 2010 and still being part of the England setup under Fabio Capello. Gomez, Blanco, wiggling around, goes down under the challenge of Parker and wins an important free kick for the All-Stars.
But Blanco wasn't really going anywhere, just kind of gets caught a little bit by Scott Parker. And anyone who's ever played against Blanco knows that he's very, very good at drawing free kicks, and this is a dangerous situation when you've got someone like David Beckham on a free kick, 25 yards out.
Well, Blanco is there.
I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to hit this, Blanco.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think number 23.
You're not going to argue with David Beckham, are you?
I wouldn't have thought so. All-Stars trying to find a go-ahead goal against West Ham. Beckham. Davenport with the clearing header.
Watch the West Ham defenders here. They're all trying to get back on the line to help out Robert Green. That's because they know how dangerous David Beckham is from a free kick situation. Scott Parker gets back on the right side. Callum Davenport is the one that ends up heading that away. Simply because they know if they don't do that, David Beckham's capable of putting it in the top corner from just about anywhere.
Decided to have a go from free play on that occasion. Beckham. It's a whistle wide of Green's far post. Bornstein for the All-Stars. Blanco with the flick ahead. Cole now. And Joseph will find Hayder. Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half in the 2008 All-Star game, live from BMO Field. Zoom Airlines halftime report features no less a personality than Estelle. She'll be here live singing, plus of course yours truly, who will not be singing. And Jason will have first half analysis, highlights and stats for you, all coming up at halftime. Ferdinand, Davenport, central defensive pairing, Widowson. Well, it's been an entertaining first half, goals at both ends. Interesting chat as well here with Steve Nash. Very enlightening. Shari Joseph for the All-Stars. Almost found a way through to Dean Ashton. Blanco. Nice control by Toha. As Bornstein to his left, decides to go back to Blanco, who returns the favour. This is Jimmy Conrad. And Mauricio Hayder. The lengthening shadows on that far side. Toha again. He's got Bornstein ahead of him. Looking for Gomez. Ferdinand. Clearance was charged down by Bornstein, who stayed forward. And Faubert goes to ground under the challenge from Toha. Plenty more action to come at the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the finale of Rogers Cup Tennis on CBC Sports. Hope you can join us for that as well. Bornstein once again in a forward position. Toha left the ball behind. And Ferdinand will dribble the ball away, but only as far as Joseph as the All-Stars turn round again. They'd love another one before half-time. Toha has Blanco. Inside from Blanco, goes for the top corner and scores! Temo Blanco has been made a career of goal-scoring chances, and he gives the All-Stars the lead in the 2008 edition with a sublime finish that gave Green no chance.
Wonderful strike from Blanco. It all comes from a turnover by Matthew Etherington. He tried to link up with Dean Ashton, gave the ball away to Shari Joseph. Wonderful skill from Blanco, and this is what he's made a name of over the years. Gets in a dangerous position, bends the ball, top corner. Robert Green has no chance. Fantastic strike.
Crowning his All-Star debut in the best possible fashion. As West Ham find themselves behind for the first time in the game. Parker linking up with Widowson. Carlton Cole. Touch off from Ashton. Cole again, trying to find a way inside Mastroeni. Bouncing all over the place, and in the end, Shari Joseph takes control and finds his goalkeeper. And goes Toha under the challenge from Lucas Neal. Neal not known for pulling out of challenges over the course of his career. Here's David Beckham for the All-Stars, who now lead by 2-1. I understand there will be 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Flick ahead by Faubert. Confirmation from the fourth official. Just that 1 minute to be added. As Joseph finds Beckham. He has Hayder to his right. There's the Columbus right back, Frankie Hayter. Beckham again. Long searching ball, looking for Blanco. Finds him with an erring accuracy. A little bit of pushing and shoving involving Neil again and Blanco. It'll be an All-Stars free kick. Words to the Australian skipper. And Mr. Navarro. In the golden boots. Will deliver another whipped-in cross. Well, Scott Parker was in the way. He was too close. Now he's going to get a yellow card for encroachment. So the first booking of the All-Star game. The referee. Beckham will get a second chance. It's a crowded penalty area. It'll come all the way back to Beckham. Linking up again with Blanco. Deeper this time. Widowson got his head on it. No time for the corner because Mr. Navarro blows his whistle for half-time. Man very much involved in the action, of course, as you would expect, David Beckham. But Gomez and Blanco, the goal scorers for the All-Stars, who lead by 2-1 at half-time as we go downstairs to Brenda Irving.
Coming.
For West Ham, just one change. Lewis Burr-Morty for Matthew Etherington.
Yeah, and from West Ham's perspective, they're going to want to try and give as many players as much time as possible. It's about fitness for them, and they want to get through as much of this game as they can. I'm sure he'll make more substitutions in the game.
Now, we've also been tracking for you the Under-17 CONCACAF Women's Championship. It's not necessarily a full-time score you wanted to see. Canada beaten 2-0 by Costa Rica, so they will now take place, Canada, in the bronze medal game on Sunday. That is a game they will need to win to make it to the finals. As Mr. Navarro gets us underway in the second half of the 2008 All-Star game, live from BMO Field in Toronto, where the best of MLS lead the English Premier League side West Ham United by 2-1. It'll be interesting to see just how many substitutions are used by both coaches in this second half. From a spectator's point of view, I hope we don't see too many. And I hope it remains as a competitive game as it was in the first half. It was entertaining, quality goals. There's young Joe Widowson. Dean Ashton turns Joseph. Away comes Mastroeni quickly. Early touch for Angel. Hayter looking for Angel, that half-time replacement. This is tough football for New York Red Bull. Angel, of course, spent some years in the UK himself, notably with Aston Villa, before making the move to Major League Soccer. Donovan and Joseph combining. Hell was looking for the flick for Beckham. Well, now then, we consider those keys to the game early in the game. Were we right?
Well, the All-Stars have certainly played as a team. They look like they've played together for a lot longer than a couple of days. And the two-way game, apart from the one miscommunication between Conrad and Mastroeni, I think they've defended very well, considering most of their players want to go forward and attack. West Ham, it is all about fitness for them. They're getting a good run around, certainly playing a tough opposition in the MLS All-Stars. Dean's delivery, he's had one chance, scored one goal. And that's not bad going for a striker. It's exactly what Alan Ferguson will want. I think you'll want to see Dean Ashton get involved in the game a little bit more if they're going to get themselves another goal.
Toha wins the corner for the All-Stars. There he is, Juan Toha. David Beckham makes his way over to that far side. greeted with rapturous applause as the flashbulbs go off around him. Delivers right-footed. Hell couldn't get there. Bornstein. Back to Beckham again. Different angle of delivery. Carlton Cole was back doing some defending, and that's why he's a striker. Wasn't the best. Haydock being pressed by Boamorty. Mastroeni finds Joseph. Those fresh legs of Boamorty. Eager to get involved. A little too eager there, according to the referee. Beckham with the ball ahead, looking for Angel. There's a flag here. It's just straight offside. Neil finds Joseph. Toha with the give and go. Neat and tidy by West Ham. Always known for playing the ball to feet through their many successful years. Beckham and Joseph almost gave Ashton a chance. Conrad finds Bornstein on that far side. Toha teasing Neil. Mullins goes to ground and wins the free kick. Joseph was too close. Referee asks him to back off. Neil finds Ashton with the free kick. Quickly in was Mastroeni. Back to his goalkeeper, Matt Rees. We want Brennan, I believe, is the shout. Wonder whether Steve Nicol is listening.
I'm sure we'll see Jim Brennan at some point in this game. It's got to be nice for him to hear the fans chanting his name.
2-1 the All-Stars lead. Charlery Joseph. So press for, well, perhaps a fourth goal in this game. Cole is there first. Huge cheers as the Toronto FC skipper just trots down the touchline. Just going through his fitness regime. Ready for his entry as a fully fledged All-Star. Joe Widdowson. So 2-1 in favour of the All-Stars, and that's a score I'm sure will put a smile on the face of the gentleman to our left. Delighted to be joined in the booth by MLS Commissioner Don Garber.
How are you, folks?
We're well, thank you. I'm sure you've had various views of this. It's a busy night, busy week, and an important day for you and your fellow governors. I understand there's been an important announcement made.
There has been. We've decided
so
that.
Fill us in with the details.
Sure. Two more teams, teams 17 and 18, by 2011. We hope to finalize the details of that and announce what the details of that in terms of the process within the next week. But we should be able to resolve who those two teams are by the end of the year.
Given the success off the field, on the field this year of Toronto FC here in Canada, the incredible support that they've demonstrated here in this city, it must be tempting for the MLS to consider further expansion into Canada, whether that's through Montreal, Vancouver, possibly Ottawa.
No question. You guys tell me we want to wait for this kick here.
No, you
keep rolling,
carry on.
man.
Whenever someone comes in to talk to us, they score a goal.
It's happened twice tonight, so you carry on, Commissioner, and
Okay.
you can describe the goal at the same time if you like.
There you go. Well, you know, clearly there's something very special happening with the sport here in this country.
We'll let the ball
There you go.
be
That
collected by
wasn't a
Matt
very
Reese.
good
There you
one.
are.
Yeah.
You see, never a problem.
It's a special environment, over-delivering so much in our expectations. I went to the Canadian Championship game here with the Impact and TFC on Tuesday night. Spectacular environment, spectacular event. So we're excited about Vancouver and Montreal and think there's a great opportunity there. But as I mentioned in my press conference yesterday, we've got to be sure that the country reacts, that we're able to not just get fans and their passion, but ensure that we can have a business here in Canada. And I see what exists for the NHL, and albeit we're generations away from having that kind of support. If we can get that kind of presence, that's a great thing for soccer in North America, and we hope to achieve that.
You mentioned in your comments yesterday, talking about the possibility of Canadian expansion, the word value. What does the word value mean in that context?
Well, what it really means is that Canadian broadcasters and sponsors are going to get involved with us so that we can have the kind of revenues that come out of this market that allow us to, in essence, justify having two teams here as opposed to having them in the States. And I believe that that value exists. They're so passionate and excited about this. When the mayor is here wearing a TFC shirt, so many tremendous things going on. I think we should achieve it.
I'm interested to know what the other American owners think of the possibility of a second Canadian team. Is it something they're happy with, happy to embrace, or kind of lukewarm towards?
Well, you know, they're excited about it, and it's really not a second team, it's a second and third team. You know, the idea is to do Montreal and Vancouver, and if we could make the environment work, the business work, then I think they'd be very excited about it. You know, there are not that many environments we have in the States that are like this. So if we can achieve this in Vancouver and in Montreal, that'll just create and multiply the excitement and passion, go south of the border and create some real great opportunities.
Now, you mentioned yesterday, Commissioner, when you were speaking to the media, that there are challenges that you face as a league in terms of scheduling. Now, announcing that you're going to go to 18 teams, have you got a figure in your mind of an ideal number of teams that you're looking for? And will you possibly expand beyond 2011 to go more than 18 teams in the league?
Well, you know, we want to take it slow and be sure that we get the player quality right and ensure that dilution doesn't happen on our fields as a result of that. You know, it's hard to imagine. It's a huge continent. It's, you know, it's larger than Europe, and yet it's just really two countries. So we should be able to have a larger league, but when that happens, it's hard for me to really put a time frame on that at this point.
Commissioner, we thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you. Enjoy the game. Thanks very much for joining us.
Maybe the curse of the commentator again. MLS Commissioner Don Garber. Every time we welcome someone to the booth, well, we've had a couple of those tonight. I didn't quite get there.
I had own goal written all over it for Callum Davenport. It's a defender's worst nightmare. Great ball in from Bornstein. Left foot in behind the back four. It's exactly what you want your wide players to do. Whip those balls into dangerous areas, what David Beckham's made a name for over the years.
Meanwhile, one of them chose to pass when perhaps he could have had a go himself. And now Haydock's going to get a yellow card from Mr. Navarro. Here's what it was all about.
Well, there are no friendlies anymore in football, as has been said many times. I don't think there's any intention to injure there on Frankie Haydock's part, went a little bit too strong.
But a caution was the result for the challenge on Widdowson. Way back to Robert Green again. Hell was closing in. Ferdinand finds an outlet in Faubert on that far side, but not for long. The eager All-Stars regain possession. This is Shalry Joseph. Pablo Mastroeni. And the caution, Haydock. Playing for the All-Stars, who lead by 2-1. As we go downstairs once again in Mitch Peacock. Mitch?
Well, Nigel, so much to look forward to as this game continues, but next year, the 2009 MLS All-Star Game will be at that shiny new stadium in suburban Salt Lake City, so many people looking forward to that venue. Don Garber saying it will be one of the best in the league, and it could feature Real Madrid. Real Salt Lake with some connections with the great Spanish side, and there's some speculation they could be featured as the opponent next year.
Haydock with the chip ahead. Thank you, Mitch. Will fall to Joseph. Past the challenge of Ashton. Morty moving forward ominously for West Ham. He's got two ahead of him. Finds Faubert, who goes for goal. It's too hot for Reese to handle, but it will be a corner. Now there's a Canadian duo of some note.
Jim Brennan and Dwayne DiRosario both warming up, looking like they're going to come into the game, and you can expect the roof to come off this place in a second when they do come on. Everyone here wants to see the Canadians take part in the All-Star game.
First to the corner for West Ham on that far side. They trail 2-1. Come all the way back to Faubert, who have a chance to cross from a different angle. And that's a fine effort. West Ham, but it wouldn't have counted. Reese had to be alert. He didn't know there was an offside flag. But Ashton had the shot. He goes in on his second.
Good ball in from Faubert. Just drifted in an offside position there, Dean Ashton. And a great save from Matt Reese.
Listen to the ovation. There's only one reason for it. The introduction of two Canadian soccer icons. Dwayne DiRosario for Juan Tola. They just call him Duro. And the biggest cheer of the night for a man who plays his club football on this field turf. Jim Brennan, Toronto FC club captain. And the fans start the cry of their club team. Beckham, just wide. Well, suddenly the whole atmosphere has moved up a notch.
Well, he just has an eye here, David Beckham. He has a sense this is going to come across the box. And if it was a script written in Hollywood, this would have flown into the top corner.
Connected well enough. The direction just a little awry. Joseph. As West Ham seek an equaliser through Carlton Cole. Can Cole get his shot his way? He can. He's just wide. That would have spoiled the celebration somewhat. Carlton Cole just dragged the shot wide of Reese's far post. An hour gone in the 2008 All-Star game, coming live to you from BMO Field on CBC Sports. Delighted you could join us. It's been a thoroughly entertaining game. And it is the All-Stars who have the edge over West Ham United of the English Premier League by 2-1. Dean Ashton on the ball, who scored the opening goal of the evening. Though Morte couldn't keep it in. Ada quickly gets on with it. Another fine effort from Carlton Cole. This time batted down by Reese. Plenty more soccer to come on CBC Sports, not the least of it. The Canadian women's Olympic team getting ready for Beijing 2008. In fact, they start before the official opening ceremony. Canada's opening game against Argentina, Wednesday, August the 6th. Bright and early at 4:45 a.m.
Jonathan Bornstein just gets away. Just gets a touch on that. Sets up another dangerous situation, and none other than David Beckham will be taking this one.
Four on the wall for West Ham. Can Bex get it up, over and down? The flash bulbs popping all over the stadium in anticipation that he might. It's the classic Beckham pose. Can he pop it in the top corner? Not quite. But he's getting closer.
Well, this wasn't that far away. He got it up and over the wall, just couldn't quite get it down in time to catch that top corner.
That's what they pay the big bucks for. Di Rosario finds Beckham. Had to quickly offload into the challenge of Mullins. Dean Ashton for West Ham. Finds the Frenchman, Julien Faubert. Mullins again. Two number 12s, Conrad and Cole. Joseph for the All-Stars. Donovan. Ricochet finds Joseph. Denon. All the way through to Green. West Ham preparing to make another substitution down below us. Joseph complaining that he had his shirt tugged. Jack Collinson, young midfielder, comes on to replace Hayden Mullins. So midfielder for midfielder, like for like, I suppose. Collison, another of the up-and-coming West Ham Academy graduates. Cole can't find a way through. It is a West Ham throw. Play by Davenport. Beckham takes the throw. Widdowson again. He may never play against David Beckham again in his career, but he's certainly having a good close look at him tonight. The young 19-year-old left back for West Ham. What a thrill for him. Brennan's made the run. Beckham is wide open on this near side if he can be spotted. And Hell tries to go through the middle. Hayden will find Beckham. Trademark cross again, curling away from Green. Managed to get enough on it to clear the danger momentarily. But Joseph will turn and find Beckham again. Donovan. Hayden needs a decent ball in. Just behind Di Rosario. Cole wins the header with assistance from Faubert.
Well, he's known all over the world for his ability to cross a football, but David Beckham's quite handy with his feet. Dispossessing Widdowson, keeping possession.
It's a pleasure to watch, it really is. Boamorte for Ashton. Will go for goal and scores off a deflection. And out of absolutely nothing, Dean Ashton has tied it up. The deflection, I believe, off Jimmy Conrad. And it's 2-2 in the All-Star game.
Well, he's had two chances. He's got 2 goals now. Unlucky for Matt Rees in the goal, because I think he would have covered that. Dean Ashton not afraid to shoot from anywhere. And that hits Jimmy Conrad. Completely changes direction into the bottom left-hand corner. Matt Rees left stranded. Nothing he can do about that.
Dean Ashton will take it. 10 goals last season for West Ham. Goalkeeping change coming up for West Ham, we believe, quite soon. Confirm that for you in a moment or two. Dean Ashton scores some great goals. He needed a large slice of luck here.
But he does everything right, though. You get a half a yard as a striker, you let the ball fly. If you don't shoot, you don't score. It took a deflection, a massive deflection off Conrad to hit the back of the net. But Dean Ashton's got 2 goals to his name. That does his confidence a world of good heading into the new season.
22 minutes to go, 2-2 in the All-Star game. It's been plenty entertaining. We've got a couple of Canadians on the field as well. As the All-Stars come forward again, now is that a penalty? Surely it is a penalty. Mr. Navarro points to the spot. And the All-Stars have a chance to get back in front.
It's a great ball in from Juan Pablo Angel. Great run from Dwayne De Rosario. And that's a penalty. Lucas Neal catches him, doesn't get any of the ball. Good turn. Ref could have called a foul here. Let it play on. Dwayne De Rosario gets in behind Lucas Neal. Has no choice, brings him down. And it's a great story. Canadian Dwayne De Rosario up to take the penalty kick in his hometown.
Scored a winner in an All-Star game before, a couple of years ago, and just about converts this time. It took a couple of bounces. His heart must have been in his mouth, but Dero does it for the All-Stars, who lead West Ham by 3-2. He's only been on the pitch 5 minutes.
Well, I think Dwayne's heart would have been in his throat for a second there. Hits the crossbar twice. Bounces in over the line. Trademark celebration from Dwayne De Rosario. Robert Green has no chance on this. Even if he dove the right way, he wouldn't have saved it.
The All-Stars lead by 3-2. Well, we mentioned there are 2 Canadians on the field. Meanwhile, there's a foul, but it won't count. Flag was quickly up. De Rosario came forward again.
Good little ball from Dwayne. Looking the other way. It's a tight one. They've called that offside. Juan Pablo Angel drifted just into an offside position, the linesman says, and he disagrees.
David Beckham for the All-Stars, who lead it by 3-2 with 20 minutes to play. Angel looking for help from De Rosario. Beckham's all alone once again. You can't leave him alone. And maybe that's the reason why Green's scrambling. And away for another corner. And the All-Stars are all over West Ham.
Well, we nearly had a 4th goal there. And you have a look at it here, just as he freezes the ball. Right there. Talon Davenport's playing Juan Pablo Angel onside. This gets called back for offside, but this goal should have stood. And you can understand why Angel was upset about that decision.
Beckham with the corner. Floated in again all the way across and just drifts behind for a goal kick. Well, we talked about Canadians on the field. Carlton Cole needs some attention, which gives us a chance to welcome another Canadian to the booth. I suppose this is your old boss, Joey Saputo. Meet Jason DeVos.
Hey, Jason.
Joey, it's great to have you up here. Congratulations on winning the championship on Tuesday night. It was a great game and a wonderful achievement for your organization.
Absolutely. I mean, it was something that we really were looking for. The Canadian Championship representing Canada at the CONCACAF Club Championships. It was a great fight all the way through. The games against Vancouver, Vancouver's game against Toronto. It's great. I think this championship is going to build. I think it's going to be great rivalries in Canada. I mean, whether we're at the MLS or not, it's going to be a great a great championship.
I mean, just watching what's going on here and watching what you've seen from Toronto over the last 18 months, you must be just licking your lips.
You know, Toronto has done just a fabulous job, and I tell you honestly, if the success in Toronto wouldn't have been what it is, I think it would have been very difficult for other Canadian teams to have that opportunity to join the MLS. And hats off. I mean, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment has done a fantastic job really putting soccer on the map in Canada, and we hope to be there also.
Well, we had the commissioner in here not 10 minutes ago. He's made the announcement today that the league will expand to 18 teams by 2011. I reckon you want to be one of those extra 2 teams, don't you?
I tell you, if they can have 2 Canadian teams in Montreal and Vancouver in the first round of expansion, I think it would be great for soccer in Canada. I think you have 2 franchises that are ready. The franchises that have a club now that all they need to do is step it up a little bit, and like I said, I think it'd be great for soccer in Canada.
Well, we have a ready-made rivalry. We saw that on Tuesday night, Montreal, Toronto. Well, what a rivalry that would be if it was in the MLS. I mean, we didn't know who to cheer for. You know, we're TFC fans, we're Montreal fans, we're just Canadian soccer fans. But I think for the competition, it was a wonderful atmosphere. It was something that every single one of the games we thought was very exciting. And it showed that the USL teams, the Montreal Impact, Vancouver Whitecaps, can compete in the MLS. Is that something that you feel you already have a team there that's able to make that step up, or do you feel you're going to have to make any changes in the playing side?
I mean, without a doubt, we're going to have to make some changes. If you take a look at it, we don't have to bring in 23 new players. We might have to bring maybe 3 or 4 new players, which won't put that much of a stress on necessarily the player pool, which I think is something that MLS may look for in Montreal and Vancouver. I mean, obviously, it was a couple of game series. You can't really determine the difference. You can't really say that there's a. I think overall, the length of the season, you'll probably see the difference between what the MLS is and where we're at. But on a 1 or 2 game series, it's very difficult to see the difference. But I think we definitely, if we do come in, we definitely have to step it up a little bit and look at our player pool.
So briefly, if you get the nod from the commissioner, you're ready to go in 2011?
You know what, when we spoke to MLS, we told them that we would be ready in 2009. So
there's your answer.
That would be a dream come true for Canadian soccer fans.
Absolutely.
Joey, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Joey. Good luck in the CONCACAF Championship.
Thank you so much, guys.
Another of the youngsters, Junior Stanislav coming on. Julien Faubert is foregoing the rest of the game. 15 minutes remaining. As the All-Stars, we remind you, lead West Ham United of the English Premier League by 3 goals to 2. In what has been an entertaining game, full of goals, full of incident. Pat Onstad now on the field, one of 3 Canadians, joining Dwayne De Rosario. There is Jim Brennan.
It's a magnificent achievement for Pat Onstad as well. 40 years of age, still going strong. You know, I said to him a few weeks back, he looks better than ever. And I think we can expect to see him carry on playing as long as possible.
Haydock and Joseph. Donovan looking for the give and go. Finds it again and finds Angel. He goes for goal. Deflection will take it away for a goal kick. Well, I wonder if they've just got a deflection off Davenport, but not according to the referee. Cole with the flick ahead. Mastroeni was in quickly. Been very solid, Pablo Mastroeni, for the All-Stars. As has Conrad. With that unwarranted deflection for the goal. He was only trying to get the ball away from the target, of course. 13 minutes to go. Let's go downstairs, get some reaction. Matt Rees with Mitch Peacock. Mitch?
Thanks very much. Yes, with the keeper who started this game and one of the great keepers in Major League Soccer. Matt, your thoughts on what you saw tonight?
Great atmosphere. You know, it's just great to get out there and play. They've been a fantastic opponent, and they've really, not really shown that they're in their preseason. And I think it's been just great for the fans.
There was a lot of talk coming into this game about how important this was for Major League Soccer to continue the success against international clubs. Do you feel that you've done what you wanted to do tonight, or is it a result that really matters in the end?
Yeah, no, you just want to play well. You want to show well. You want to give the fans something, and I think we've done that. Kvaratskhelia scored an amazing goal, a second one, and 5 goals has been great for the fans.
Appreciate your time.
No problem.
That's Matt Reese, guys.
Thank you, Mitch. He played his part. Brennan with the ball, swinging it in, looking for Angel. But so far, it is the intervention of a Canadian in the shape of Dwayne De Rosario from the penalty spot. His goal separates these teams. Hayder tries to find a way past Scott Parker and fails to do so. Ashton battling with Hayder. Joseph tussling, finds Beckham. And now Di Rosario. Can he find the last defender? Not quite. Widdowson is calm under pressure. Ashton has a route out. Forced to turn past Donovan. Ashton again, ran straight into Joseph. He was a little too eager. Well, Brennan certainly had an impact since he took the field.
Well, we wondered if they would be able to play as a team. All these players on the All-Star team are coming from different teams. Wonderful build-up play there. Jim Brennan combining with Showery Joseph, combining with Jonathan Bornstein, whipping across in. It's almost like they're the experienced team that have played together all season, the All-Stars right now.
Yet another substitution. Kyle Reed, no relation, I hasten to add. Different spelling apart from anything else. Replaces Dean Ashton, who's certainly made his mark on this All-Star game. Well, it's a terrific setting. The weather's cooperated, full house, and all is right with the world. See a shot like that. Cole trying to find a way through to Boamorti. Jimmy Conrad cut him off.
Echoing what Steve Nash said earlier on, it sends a tingle down your spine to see this in Canada, to see this sort of crowd reaction to the game of soccer, and something that we want to see in Montreal, Vancouver, and other cities across the country.
MLS leads West Ham by 3 goals to 2. Well, the question is, are you up for a challenge? Can you write music? Can you write a catchy theme? If you can, then you need to be writing the new theme song for Hockey Night in Canada. Go to cbcsports.ca, click on the banner at the top of the page. You've got till the end of August to tinker around on the ivories. The winner will receive $100,000. Yes, that's $100,000. I shouldn't be here, I should be at home composing. You get to write the new Hockey Night in Canada theme. You should get the bragging rights as well. In the last 10 minutes of the 2008 edition of the Major League Soccer All-Star game, and it is the All-Stars who lead by 3 goals to 2. Landon Donovan and Joseph. Di Rosario of Houston Dynamo. Local man from Scarborough, Ontario, whose penalty kick ricocheted twice off the crossbar has given the All-Stars the lead. That one hurt, and there was a yellow card for Jimmy Conrad as a result.
Tries to go in hard here to win the ball. Mistimes it a little bit. The referee could have played the advantage there for West Ham. Lewis Boamorti, and that's a sore one. Jimmy Conrad came down right in the top of his foot, and that's a painful injury for Boamorti.
Who, by the way, is up and running apparently pain-free, but I'm sure he felt the challenge. You're absolutely
They'll be
right.
feeling that tomorrow, I'm sure.
Excuse me. Well, the question is, can West Ham fashion an equaliser in the closing minutes? I'm sure if you spoke to Alan Kirbishley before, or certainly after the game, Scott Parker with the ball, too far ahead of Widdowson, he would probably tell you that the result doesn't matter. It's more about the performance and a fitness run out for his players.
It doesn't matter per se, but you always want to win games no matter what level they're at.
Donovan just ran away from him. And Van Hel trying to offer himself. Even in the media match at lunchtime, they were trying to win it.
That was just as competitive as this, believe me.
Brennan gets to speaking to who, me, he says. Who's, of course, from the fans. How dare the referee talk to their player. Cole finding Lucas Neal. Now Parker. Looking for the ball through, but it'll run all the way through to Pat Onstad. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Pat Onstad was playing last night, wasn't he?
He was, as was Randy Rosario.
In a twice postponed game. Flown all the way up here from DC, I understand. And are back on the field tonight. Jim Brennan for the All-Stars. Donovan, Joseph. Half cut away. Reed trying to bring the ball forward. Nice touch from Boamorty to Cole. Got Widdowson on this near side. Couldn't get it past Mastroeni. Once again, was in the right place at the right time. Beckham finds Angel. Di Rosario. Every time Jim Brennan touches the ball, it's a warm round of applause. Nicely done by Di Rosario. Possibilities here. Now Donovan let it run away in front of him, and the opportunity was gone. One or two moans and groans.
Well, the fans in here in Toronto, they don't mind booing Landon Donovan as a general statement.
Joseph with the toe in, effectively. Neal will bring it over halfway for West Ham. Cole's got a bit of room. It's closed quickly. Parker in support. Free kick West Ham. A challenge from Mastroeni on Parker.
Good build-up play from West Ham. Mastroeni just catches Scott Parker a little bit there. It's a dangerous situation, you know, for West Ham. Right in the middle of the goal, you're 20 yards out, and they've got players in their team, as Alan Kirbishley knows, who are capable of bending the ball in the top corner and getting that equalizing goal in the 86th minute now.
Mastroeni just having a word with the referee.
His argument, Mastroeni, will be that, you know, he couldn't stop his momentum. You know, he was going for the tackle. He didn't try and win the ball. He's actually just run, and the momentum of his run is taking him into Parker. It's a test for Pat Onstad, I think.
I think it may be. Number of possible takers. Stanislas is one. Reed is another. Who's it going to be? Straight into the wall. From Stanislas. And then Onstad did what he needed to do. There's another clash on Boamorty. He has been in the walls in the last 5 minutes.
He took a kick to the face there, Boamorty. I suppose the referee could have called this for a dangerous play by Conrad, but Pat Onstad will be pleased that the wall did its job there.
More replacements on the way. Frankie Hayter has certainly played his solid part at right back. And Bornstein as well, the other fullback, will also come out of this game. Be replaced by Steve Ralston. Bornstein, shake of the hand. And Edson Bubble, one of the top scorers in the league this season. Formerly Toronto FC player, Edson Bubble, on the field for the All-Stars.
You know, we wondered before the game, Nigel, who would play at the back for the All-Stars when they made substitutions. There were only really 4 defenders who were named to this team. Steve Ralston plays in midfield as almost as a second striker for New England.
Here he is on the
Seems
ball.
to have slotted in on the right side at the back.
In no mind about getting himself involved in the couple of minutes that remain. Happy with the challenge. As we enter the final minute of the 2008 All-Star game, we understand there will be several minutes of stoppage time. Not to do with this man, Luis Berramori, who's been on his backside on a couple of occasions. Beckham driving the All-Stars forward again. Ralston on this near side. First time cross, half away. Appeals for handball, nothing given. Beckham looks over at the assistant referee to say where was the decision. It wasn't coming. Parker on the charge for West Ham. He might go all the way here. And there is just Berramori. The angle just too tight in the end. Well, he's certainly made a nuisance of himself since coming on as a substitute, Luis Berramori.
Well, he made the wrong decision here, Nigel. He should have dragged this across the face goal rather than trying to shoot. Carlton Cole got in a great position for a tap-in. All he has to do, Berramori, is slide that across the face goal. Pat Onsat's committed to making the save at the near post. Wouldn't be able to get back in position. Carlton Cole would have had a tap-in for the equalizer.
And yet more replacements for West Ham. Carlton Cole. This night's work is done. Replaced by midfielder Tony Stokes. Another of the young ones. Just 21, Stokes. Handshake with Beckham before he leaves the field. Stokes is on. For these final few minutes of stoppage time. Stokes has gone into a centre forward position. Immediately trying to dispossess Joseph. Donovan finds Joseph. Once again an assured performance. Beckham and Ralston. He returns the favour. Over the top of Van Hel. Chance for West Ham in the shape of Neil to bring it away. Conrad with close control. And goes Donovan. Under the challenge of Neil. Free kick to the All-Stars. Just caught him.
It's unfortunate for the All-Stars because Donovan had options on his left and his right there. If he got through on that ball, would have been a great scoring opportunity. I think this one's a little bit far out for David Beckham.
Well, Di Rosario is there as well, but David Beckham, well, he's got to be 35 yards out here. Di Rosario winds up and forces the save. From Green and a corner. They enjoyed that.
Well, Dwayne is a perennial candidate for goal of the year, and this is why, because he's not afraid to have a goal from that kind of distance. And to be honest, if there's anyone on the field that can do it, is Dwayne. Took a bit of deflection there, you're right, Nigel. And it could have gone in the back of the net.
Beckham with the corner. Can they put the icing on the cake? Let's through them all. Donovan was trying to keep the pressure on. Free kick West Ham. You know, the clock is counting down against them. Parker, quick to get on with it. Finds Boamorti. Dispossessed by Di Rosario momentarily. The youngsters of West Ham try to fashion an equaliser. Now Parker turns one way, then the other. Straight into Beckham. Rolston helps him out, as does Juan Pablo Angel and Buddle. Rolston. Stokes took man and ball there. Free kick for the All-Stars. In the last 30 seconds of the All-Star game, on my watch at least. Quick glance at the watch by Mr. Navarro. It looks like the All-Stars will continue their fine record against English sides. They beat Celtic last year, Chelsea the year before that, and Fulham in 2005, and in 2008 the Major League Soccer All-Stars have triumphed again for the 4th year running over British opposition. Dwayne Di Rosario with the deciding penalty after coming on as a substitute. David Beckham involved in all the good things the All-Star did, himself an All-Star.